Listen closely. This message is not meant for everyone. Some people already clicked away because their spirit could not handle what is about to be revealed. But you stayed because something inside you has been restless lately. Something inside you senses God is doing something powerful through your life. You felt it in the silence. You felt it during the heartbreak. You felt it when everyone walked away and you were left alone with nothing but your prayers and your tears. Hear this clearly. They underestimated you because they judged your brokenness, but they never saw the anointing God placed on your life. They laughed when you struggled. They ignored you when you were suffering. They betrayed you when you were loyal. They abandoned you when you needed love the most. But what they failed to understand was that God was hiding you, preparing you, setting you apart, strengthening you, because heaven never reveals a chosen one before the appointed time. And now the same people who ignored you, the same people who doubted you, the same people who spoke against your name can sense something changing. They cannot explain it, but they feel it. Your spirit has shifted. Your presence has shifted. Your energy has shifted. God is changing you right in front of their eyes, and it unsettles them because the person they tried to break did not break. You survived the pain. You survived the betrayal. You survived the spiritual struggle. And now heaven is about to lift you up publicly. God is, saying they thought the battle would finish you. But the battle introduced you to your true strength. Listen, this was never just an attack on your life. This was a fight against your destiny, because darkness recognized your calling before you did. That is why your life has been so difficult. That is why you have always felt different, why you never fit in, why you outgrew people so fast, why your soul always felt older than your age. You are chosen, and chosen ones do not live ordinary lives. They walk through fire before they reach purpose. They cry in secret before they rise in public. They endure isolation before elevation. And right now you are standing at the edge of transformation. The season of suffering is ending. The season of revelation is beginning. God is saying, they underestimated my child, and now they are amazed by what I created. Listen closely. One of the hardest things about being chosen is that nobody understands what God is doing in your life while He is doing it. People only celebrate the glory. They never understand the process. They never see the nights you cried yourself to sleep, the moments you questioned everything, the times you begged God for answers while heaven stayed silent. But hear this clearly. God's silence was never abandonment. It was preparation. While everyone thought you were losing, God was building something inside you that could not be broken. Because chosen ones are not shaped through comfort. They are shaped through pressure, through betrayal, through loneliness, through spiritual struggle. And your suffering was never random. Every tear had purpose. Every rejection had purpose. Every heartbreak had purpose. God allowed certain people to walk away because they could not enter the next season of your life. Some people were assignments, not destinies. Some people were lessons, not lifelong companions. And yes, it hurt because you loved deeply. You stayed loyal. You gave people your heart, even when your own soul was tired. But many people only knew how to use your kindness. And when God saw that your spirit was being drained, He removed them. Not to punish you, but to protect you. Listen, some separations are heaven's rescue mission. You thought you were being rejected, but God was clearing away distractions. You thought your world was falling apart, but heaven was clearing the path. Hear this clearly. The isolation you went through was not meant to destroy you. It was meant to bring you closer to God. Because when God wants to change a chosen one, He separates them from noise, from fake love, from confusion, from surroundings that hold back destiny. And suddenly, you found yourself alone. Nobody checking on you. Nobody understanding you. Nobody seeing your pain. But during that loneliness, something powerful happened. You started hearing God more clearly. You started noticing signs, small confirmations, quiet warnings, moments that could not be explained logically, because spiritual awakening often begins in isolation. And that unsettled people around you. They noticed you changing. You became quieter, more observant, more spiritually aware. You stopped chasing approval. You stopped begging to be accepted. You stopped shrinking yourself for people who could never appreciate your heart. And suddenly, the same people who once overlooked you started watching you closely because your spirit began carrying weight. Listen closely. Chosen ones carry something that cannot be faked. It is not money. It is not status. It is not appearance. It is spiritual depth. And when God places His hand on someone, even darkness recognizes it. That is why you have faced strange battles, sudden betrayals, unexpected attacks, people disliking you for no clear reason, false accusations, jealousy from people you helped, because your presence exposes darkness, and darkness becomes uneasy around light. Hear this clearly. Not everyone celebrating you is happy for you. Some people study chosen ones because they are intimidated by them. They watch your resilience, your peace, your endurance, and they cannot understand how you are still standing after everything you survived. But they never saw the private battles. They never saw you praying through panic, crying through exhaustion, holding yourself together while your soul felt shattered. Listen, there were moments you almost gave up, moments where the pain became unbearable, moments where you questioned your purpose, moments where you asked God, "Why is my life so heavy?" And heaven heard every word. God saw every tear, every sleepless night, every quiet breakdown, every moment you kept going, even when your heart was tired. God is saying today, "I never left you." Even when the room felt empty, He was there. Even when people betrayed you, He was there. Even when your prayers seemed unanswered, He was there, working behind the scenes, rearranging your future, protecting you from battles you never even knew existed. Listen closely. The struggle thought isolation would weaken you, but isolation trained you. It taught you discernment. It taught you strength. It taught you how to survive without applause, without validation, without support. And now you no longer need people to believe in you for you to trust God. That is strength. Hear this clearly. The version of you that is emerging now is powerful. Not powerful through anger, powerful through spiritual depth. You survived things that should have broken you, and survival changed you. The fire refined you. The pain matured you. The betrayal awakened you. Now your discernment is sharper. Your spirit is stronger. Your connection with God is deeper. And people can feel it. That is why some people suddenly became distant. Your peace exposes their chaos. Your discipline exposes their excuses. Your faith exposes their fear. Some people were comfortable with the broken version of you, but they become uneasy when they see you healing, because healed chosen ones are unstoppable. God is saying, they were comfortable when you doubted yourself, but now you know who you are. And once a chosen one discovers their identity, everything changes. You stop begging for love. You stop chasing approval. You stop lowering your standards. You stop explaining your worth because you finally realize God already validated you. Hear this carefully. The attacks increased because your breakthrough is near. The struggle intensified because heaven is preparing elevation. The pressure became heavy because transformation is happening. Darkness pushes hardest when it senses purpose awakening. But God is saying, you survived every attack because I placed strength inside you before the battle even began. Think about everything you overcame. You are still here, still breathing, still fighting, still believing. That is not weakness. That is evidence of divine covering. Listen closely. People thought your silence meant weakness, but your silence was spiritual building. God was rebuilding your mind, your heart, your spirit, your confidence, your identity. And now the same people who underestimated you can feel your rise approaching. That is why some are uneasy around you now, because your energy no longer seeks permission. Your spirit no longer fears rejection. You have suffered too much to stay small. God allowed you to walk through darkness so you would become light for others. Your testimony is going to help people. Your survival is going to inspire people. Your breakthrough is going to surprise people because nobody expected you to rise after everything you endured. But that is the power of God. He specializes in renewal. He brings strength out of suffering, purpose out of pain, victory out of hardship. And now your season is changing. Doors are opening. Discernment is increasing. Peace is returning. Confidence is rising. And the people who laughed before can no longer laugh because heaven is revealing who you truly are. God is saying, my child, you were hidden, not forgotten. Remember this, diamonds are formed under pressure. Oil is produced through crushing, and chosen ones are shaped through suffering. Everything you survived was preparing you for the assignment attached to your life. So do not hate your process. Do not resent your loneliness. Do not curse the season that built your strength. Because one day you will realize the pain was shaping the very strength that now amazes those who underestimated you. Something is shifting in your life right now. You can feel it. The old version of you is fading. The fearful version, the insecure version, the version that tolerated disrespect, the version that kept begging people to stay. God is removing that person forever, because where He is taking you, you cannot carry the mindset of survival anymore. You are entering a season of strength. Listen closely. The reason your spirit has felt restless lately is because heaven is preparing movement. Chosen ones always feel uneasy before elevation, because God begins pulling them away from surroundings that no longer match their destiny. Suddenly, conversations feel empty. Certain friendships feel forced. Places that once felt familiar now feel heavy. That is not random. That is spiritual transition. God is disconnecting you from your old season, and yes, it feels lonely. Transformation always does, because not everyone can go where God is taking you. Hear this clearly. Some people were assigned to your past, not your future. And the hardest truth for chosen ones to accept is that sometimes the people you love the most were never sent to help you grow. Some were sent to test your discernment. Some were sent to expose your wounds. Some were sent to teach you how to stop abandoning yourself. Listen, the betrayal nearly broke you because your heart was genuine. You loved deeply. You forgave repeatedly. You gave people chance after chance, even while your own soul was hurting. But God is saying no more. No more shrinking. No more settling. No more allowing fake people access to your spirit, because your calling is too important to be surrounded by confusion. Hear this clearly. There are people who secretly hoped you would fail. People who smiled in your face while doubting your future. People who enjoyed watching you struggle because your light unsettled them. But now everything is changing because God is lifting your spirit out of survival mode. You are becoming stronger emotionally, stronger mentally, stronger spiritually, and people can feel the shift before you even speak. Listen closely. When a chosen one begins awakening, their entire presence changes. Their eyes change. Their energy changes. Their discernment changes. They stop ignoring red flags. They stop entertaining negativity. They stop chasing what God already removed. And suddenly the people who once controlled access to love, validation, or acceptance lose power over you. That unsettles them, because broken people are easier to manipulate, but healed chosen ones are powerful. God is saying, I allowed the pain to teach you your value, and now you finally understand. Not everyone deserves access to your heart. Not everyone deserves your energy. Not everyone deserves your loyalty. Listen closely. The reason you survive what broke others is because God placed endurance inside your spirit. You were never ordinary. That is why your life has felt different since childhood. You always sensed things deeply. You noticed energy others ignored. You felt disconnected from shallow surroundings. You struggled to fit in because your spirit was never designed for shallow living. Chosen ones often feel alone because their soul is carrying divine purpose, and purpose creates separation. God isolates before He elevates. He removes distractions before revelation. He breaks attachment before breakthrough. That is why your life has been a cycle of endings and new beginnings. God was teaching you not to build your identity around temporary people, because your true identity comes from Him. Listen, there were seasons where you felt invisible, overlooked, forgotten, unappreciated. But heaven was watching everything. Every act of kindness, every quiet sacrifice, every prayer whispered through tears. God saw it all. And now the reward season is approaching. Hear this clearly. Your breakthrough will not just be emotional, it will be visible. People are about to witness the transformation they never believed possible. The confidence, the peace, the opportunities, the favor, the restoration. God is about to honor the endurance nobody applauded. Listen closely. Some people are surprised you did not collapse. After everything they put you through, they expected bitterness, resentment, failure, but instead you became wiser, stronger, closer to God. That is what unsettles darkness, because pain was supposed to break you, but it awakened you instead. Hear this clearly. The next version of your life requires courage, because elevation attracts attention, and not everyone celebrating your success will genuinely support you. This is why discernment matters now more than ever. God is saying, protect your peace. Not every invitation is from God. Not every opportunity is aligned. Not every relationship deserves access to your spirit. Listen, your sensitivity is not weakness. It is spiritual intelligence. You feel things deeply because God designed you to discern beyond appearances. Stop apologizing for your intuition. Stop ignoring the warnings God sends, the discomfort, the uneasy feeling, the repeated signs. Heaven has been speaking to you all along. Hear this clearly. The delay was not denial. God was timing everything perfectly, because if certain blessings had arrived earlier, you
would not have been emotionally ready to carry them. The pain matured you. The waiting refined you. The silence strengthened your faith. And now you are finally becoming the person your destiny requires. Listen closely. You are not strange for feeling different. You are awakening. You are remembering who God created you to be before the world tried to break your spirit. And now God is saying, stop running from your greatness. Stop minimizing your calling. Stop pretending you do not feel the fire burning inside your chest, because that fire is not arrogance. That fire is assignment. That fire is the evidence of divine purpose placed inside you before you were even born. Hear this clearly. You were not created to live small. You were not created to survive in silence. You were not created to keep apologizing for taking up space in rooms that were always meant for you. Listen closely. The reason certain doors kept closing was not because you were unqualified. It was because God was protecting you from surroundings that would have contaminated your spirit. Not every open door is from heaven. Some doors lead to spiritual traps. Some opportunities carry hidden chains. And God, who sees the end from the beginning, closed those doors before they could redirect your destiny. Hear this clearly. Rejection was redirection. Delay was divine protection. The job you did not get, the relationship that ended, the friendship that faded, the opportunity that disappeared, God removed every single one because something greater required your full attention. And now that you are on the other side of those closed doors, you can see it. The thing that hurt you the most turned out to be the mercy of God, working in disguise. There is something God is building through your life right now that your mind cannot fully understand yet. Because what heaven is constructing in your spirit is beyond what human vision can see in this moment. You feel pieces shifting. You feel things aligning. You sense something big approaching. And that feeling is not wishful thinking. That is spiritual perception. God is allowing you to feel the edges of your breakthrough before it fully arrives, because He wants your faith to stretch before your eyes confirm it. Hear this clearly. Faith is not waiting passively. Faith is moving forward while heaven finalizes the details. And right now, God is finalizing details in your life that took years of suffering, years of silence, years of isolation to prepare. The suffering was the curriculum. The isolation was the classroom. And now you are graduating into a season that your former self could have never survived. Listen closely. There are blessings coming toward you that require a new version of you to receive them. This is why God spent so long breaking patterns in your thinking, breaking the belief that you were unworthy, breaking the lie that your pain disqualified you, breaking the habit of making yourself small to keep people comfortable, because the blessings on the other side of your transformation are too significant for a timid spirit to carry. God does not assign great purposes to comfortable people. He assigns great purposes to broken people who kept choosing faith over fear, to wounded people who kept praying through the pain, to lonely people who kept seeking God even when they could not feel His presence. Because those are the people who understand that glory costs something. Those are the people who will never forget where they came from when heaven lifts them up publicly. Your humility was forged in suffering. Your compassion was born in heartbreak. Your spiritual strength was developed in struggle. And now everything God allowed you to endure is becoming the very foundation of your purpose. You cannot help someone walk through a fire you have never entered. You cannot speak healing into a wound you have never carried. And God was preparing your testimony while you were living through your trials, because someone needs exactly what you survived to find the courage to keep going. Hear this clearly. Your life is not just for you. Your breakthrough is not just for you. The healing God is bringing to your spirit is not just for your peace. It is for every person your life will touch after your elevation. That is the weight of being chosen. That is the responsibility of divine purpose. Your survival was not accidental. Heaven engineered your endurance because your story carries a message that will save someone's life. Think about the people around you who are quietly struggling, people carrying pain they have never spoken aloud, people standing at the edge of giving up, asking God why their suffering seems endless. And God is saying your testimony will become the lifeline for someone who has no reason left to believe. Your willingness to rise after everything you endured will give someone else permission to rise. Also hear this clearly. Do not silence your story to protect the comfort of people who never paid a price to walk alongside you. Your testimony is a weapon against hopelessness. Your survival is evidence that God keeps his promises even when circumstances suggest otherwise. And heaven is positioning you to carry that evidence into rooms and spaces that desperately need the light you are now carrying. Listen, this is why the enemy fought you so relentlessly, not because you were weak, because you were powerful. And a powerful chosen one who fully awakens to their identity becomes a threat to every planned darkness laid against their community, their family, their generation. The enemy knew what God placed inside you long before you believed it yourself. That is why the attacks started early. That is why confusion surrounded you from childhood. That is why certain relationships drained you before they hurt you. Darkness was trying to exhaust your spirit before your purpose could fully ignite. Every attack failed, every scheme was reversed, every weapon formed against you was dismantled before it could finish the work darkness intended. And you are still here, still breathing, still standing, still believing. That is not luck. That is evidence of divine covering so strong that darkness itself could not penetrate it. Listen closely. The Bible says, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper." And your life is the living proof of that promise. Every person who spoke against you, every situation engineered to defeat you, every lie crafted to ruin your reputation, every betrayal designed to break your spirit, all of it failed because God placed a hedge around your destiny that human schemes and spiritual struggle could not dismantle. Hear this clearly. You did not survive because you were strong enough. You survived because God was faithful enough. And that distinction matters because it keeps you humble while heaven elevates you. You cannot take credit for divine protection. You can only walk in gratitude for it. And gratitude, real gratitude born from suffering, creates an atmosphere around chosen ones that attracts more of God's favor. Listen, the most powerful thing you can carry into your next season is a grateful heart.